Whether you're a hardcore Nintendo fan or just a gamer, there are few places in the world as awesome as Nintendo World. I personally am lucky enough to go there quite often for new system launches, E3 events, game launches, or just general street gaming meetups. And it's just an awesome place to be. And one problem, if you're not familiar with Manhattan, might be actually finding there. Now, when a lot of people enter Manhattan via the train system, be it Amtrak or New Jersey Transit or the subway, a lot of people don't really know how to get to Nintendo World. Now, Nintendo World is in Rockefeller Plaza, Rockefeller Center with the skating rink with the gold statue and all that. Where Radio City Music Hall is. So if you're unfamiliar with the area, you just ask anyone, any cop, any tour guide, which way to Rockefeller Center, and they'll point you in the right direction. If you arrive through Pennsylvania Station, which is the train station beneath Madison Square Garden, or you can just use Madison Square Garden as a reference point. You're just going to want to get to Rockefeller Center. Once you get to Rockefeller Center, Radio City Music Hall, the skating rink, there are special Rockefeller Center guards there that'll show you exactly how to get to Nintendo World. But if you're a little further south of there and you're closer to Madison Square Garden, that's another point of reference you could start from. Whether you're if you took the train to Manhattan and you come up by Madison Square Garden through Penn Station. Basically, I'm just going to walk you in this video from from Penn Station to the Nintendo World store, and I'm going to give you a lot of reference points and stuff like that, so you can find your way there very easily. So, and there's also an underground plaza right beneath the Nintendo World store. That's not part of the store itself, but a lot of street gaming groups like Street Pass NYC, they have a lot of meetups down there. There's also public restrooms you could use when they have different certain events that aren't necessarily from Nintendo World themselves. That's a very popular spot to meet out, so I'll show you how to get there too. I only refer to it in the guide as the restrooms, but when you go down there, you'll find the concourse is what it's called, and there are lots of tables and chairs where a lot of gamers hang out when they have these meetups as well. So you'll be able to find your way to Nintendo World from Penn Station and know where the concourse is for restrooms and for Street Pass meetups. Right when you exit Penn Station, look for the corner of West 34th Street and 7th Avenue shown here. Just continue down 7th Avenue, heading north. You'll know you're heading north because the numbers will increase. 35th Street, 36th Street. At some point, you're going to want to cross to the east side of this street. You can do this at any point, really. But here, I'm going to do it right at the corner of 37th Street and 7th Avenue. Just cross whenever you see a safe opportunity to do so. And continue north up 7th Avenue, making sure that the cross streets are increasing in number. Here's 38th Street. Here's 39th Street. Remember, you're going to keep going north until you reach 48th Street. You'll find a giant needle strung through a button here. This is a good reference point and landmark. Right past the button needle, you'll also see the statue of a man on a sewing machine. It's another good landmark to keep in mind, and it's unmistakable. Just keep heading north. Here's 43rd Street and 7th Avenue. Here, signs of Times Square will begin to become apparent. But remember, any of these businesses or billboards could change by the time you get there, so don't rely too much on them as landmarks. New York City's constantly changing. Right past this mini police station, Times Square itself will become apparent. Just walk through Times Square, still heading north. It may seem chaotic, but just keep going straight and there's nothing to worry about. Up there is where the ball drops on New Year's Eve. That blue building to the right is the Toys R Us at Times Square. It's one of the biggest toy stores in the world, so if you don't come to Manhattan often, it's something you might want to check out. Don't worry about sticking to the crowded sidewalks here. Wherever there's blue paint on the pavement, that's where you can walk safely as a pedestrian. Cars can't travel through there at all. But make sure you pay attention. Don't wander into the street by accident. At 45th Street, continue when it's safe to do so. Watch the actual traffic more so than the actual traffic signs. And when you see these red bleachers at the corner, you're going to want to keep to the right. It forks off here, so be careful. Don't get confused and make a left by accident. Go down the right path and keep going straight down until you reach the corner of 7th Avenue and 48th Street with the M&M's building. This is where you're going to make your next major move. Sooner or later you're going to have to cross the street here, so you might as well do it now or whenever it's useful to do so. Whenever it's safe to do so. Head east down 48th Street and make sure that you're going to want to take a right from the direction you were previously traveling. Watch out for parking garages like these. Cars are constantly entering and leaving them. They don't always look out for pedestrians, so keep a lookout here. You know you're in the right spot when you see the Court Theater. It's right beneath the gigantic News Corporation Tower. Across the street from Court Theater, you'll see this artificial waterfall that's also a good point of reference. Keep heading east from this point, past the Court Theater and past the News Corp building. You're eventually going to see a big red news ticker on the News Corp building. Another useful point of reference. From here, when you look to your left, you'll see Radio City Music Hall just a block, further north. It's a famous theater, and most people know what it looks like, so that's another useful point of reference. And you'll be seeing it right across from the News Corp building. Keep heading east, and you're going to run into 6th Avenue, also known as Avenue of the Americas. This is going to be one of the most busiest streets you're going to cross yet. It's a one-way street. Keep in mind the Diamond District, noted by those two unique diamond-shaped signposts. Another good point of reference. Cross the street as soon as it's safe to do so. When you cross the street, use this subway station as another reference point if you need to. Keep the sights in mind as you make your way so you can find your way back if you need to. City Sports is a good landmark. There's another parking garage before you reach Nintendo World, so keep an eye out for entering and exiting cars like this one here. At this point, there's nothing to do but to just keep heading east. At last, your destination becomes apparent. It sort of appears out of nowhere, but when you see it, there's no mistaking the Nintendo World Store for any place else on Earth. So, just remember, 7, 48, 6. 7, the number of years Link spent in the Temple of Time. 48, the number of states in the mainland United States. And 6, the number of Pokemon you could carry at any one time in a Pokemon game. Just remember those 3 numbers and finding Nintendo World's a snap. Now here's a hint that'll come in handy if you ever come to Nintendo World for a system launch or a special event and need to use the bathroom. At Stairway E right near Nintendo World, if you go down the plaza a bit, you'll find a stairwell descending into an underground arcade area. By that I mean like a rest area. Under there you'll find public toilets that you could use free of charge. There are lots of restaurants right near Nintendo World and delis and convenience shops, but they'll all charge you if you want to use their bathroom. They'll make you buy something. So keep that in mind right around the corner from Nintendo World if you need to use the bathroom.